Hi, this is Ruth from Bedazzled. On this channel, I'm going to show you tips and techniques to make your needlepoint even more fun. Today, I'm going to show you how to bezel a cabochon. Cabochons are typically flat back, glass, or crystal. They're great for adding depth, dimension, and just overall excitement to your needlepoint. But they don't have any holes, so we're going to have to figure out a better way to attach them. You can use a flat back cabochon. You could use a crystal that also is flat. This happens to be a flat button, a giant bead. The holes are on the side, but it's going to be bezeled in exactly the same way. So you need whatever it is you want to attach to your canvas. You need size 11 seed beads and size 15 seed beads. They can be the same color, they can be different colors, they can be multicolored, whatever makes you happy. Start out by gluing your cabochon onto a piece of beading foundation or wool felt. You don't want the thin craft store felt, you want wool felt. Next up, I like to cut this down to a manageable size. Leave maybe a ½ inch around it. It can be cut in a square, just cut off the corners so that they don't grab your thread. So that's nice and easy to hold. That's what we're going to embellish today. Thread a needle with a single strand of beading thread and tie a knot at the end. The knot is going to get hidden on the back, out of our way. So start out and just secure your thread on the back. I'm using white thread. Usually I would use black because I've got black beading foundation, but I want this to be easy for you to see. Bring your needle up directly next to the edge of the cabochon. Pick up 2 size 11 seed beads. Size 11 is important, quantity 2 is important. Pull the beads down to the end of your thread. Sink the needle right at the end of the 2 beads. We want them to be directly next to the cabochon or the disc or whatever it is we're attaching to our canvas. Come back up again at the starting point. Now this is the basics of bead embroidery, a beaded backstitch. You're going to go back through those 2 seed beads. Pick up 2 more. With every stitch, you are picking up 2 seed beads. Slide them down to the end of your thread and sink your needle next to the cabochon at the end of the beads. Bring your needle back up 3 beads from where you are. Thread through all 3. Pick up 2 beads. Slide them to the end of your thread and sink your needle. The beads are always touching the cabochon. They're always nice and tight together. Come back 3 beads. thread through them, and pick up 2. Continue all the way around, going back 3, picking up 2, back 3, pick up 2, until you complete the circle. It is important that you have an even number of beads when you are done with the circle. Okay, we're almost all the way around. Adding 2 beads, backing up 3, adding 2 beads, and so on. So here's my little spot that I have left. I'm going to pick up 2 beads. That almost fills the spot. 4 beads would be too many. 3 beads would probably be perfect, but we have to do an even number. So we're going to live with that little gap, and it's going to be fine. So we've added on 2 beads. And just so everything is consistent, we're going to come back through 3 to end it, and through the first 2 that we put on. So it's like we're picking up another 2, right? We're threading through 5. If your needle gets stuck and you can't pull it through, grab a pair of pliers. Okay, next step is peyote stitch. So peyote stitch, we're going to add more beads, still size 11, to this ring, and they're going to go up and down, and they're going to fall in like little bricks. So we're going to pick up a size 11 bead, there we go. Let's make this a little bit bigger for you. Okay. So we picked up a size 11 bead, we skip the next bead in the row and go through the next guy. If it's a little tight, just pull with pliers. This bead is going to sit up along the edge of the cabochon. Pick up another bead, skip the next bead in the row, and go through the next guy. You go all the way around like this, picking up a bead, skipping a bead in the row, and creating this little sort of up and down brick stitch looking thing. This is what you want. This is called peyote. So we're coming out of the bead, we pick up another bead, skip one, and go into the next, all the way around. If you counted your beads in your first row, you will have exactly half that amount added in this row, because we're putting a bead over every other bead. They sit straight up. Your first one's always going to be a little bit wonky, so don't worry about him, but they're going to sit straight up along the edge of your cabochon. So go all the way around and we'll see what's next. Okay, here we are. We've gone almost all the way around. We've got beads in every other spot. Looks a little bit wonky now, but trust me, it'll be fine. Pull tight as you're going. You want the beads to sit up in a little wall along the outside edge of the cabochon. So we're almost at the end here. And I just kind of push them over the edge so that they sit up where they're supposed to. And we're going to put on our last bead in the row. This is important. So we're skipping a bead. And we're going to go right in here into the last bead that we need to go into. After we do that, you have to do what's called step up, because you're in the bottom row. You can't be in the bottom row. You got to be in the top row. So you're going to step up through the first bead you put in the second row. So we sewed this one on. We go into the next one in the base row and we step up through this guy, the first one we put on in the second row. In real beading terms, that's considered the third row, but let's not go there now. Okay, all this is going to get squashed up. It's going to be straight. It's going to be wonderful. Now here's where the magic happens. You do the same thing that you did in what you and I will call the second row, using size 14-15 seed beads. So you pick up one of these little guys and you've got these nice, big, easy to see gaps in your beadwork. Put a bead in one of those gaps, in the next gap. So this row is going to have the exact same number of beads as the prior row, which is half the number that you sewed on in the first row in your bead embroidery. So you just go around, you keep picking up a size 15 seed bead and going in the next gap all the way around. This is going to cause the circle to pull together and come over the edge of the cabochon, the disc, the button, the whatever it is that you are embellishing, just slightly. The glue is going to hold it in place. It's not going to go anywhere. You've glued it onto backing. And then we're going to sew the backing onto our needlepoint canvas. So really, where can it go? This is just to make it look all finished. So go round and round, one bead in each gap, and then I'll show you how to finish it. And here we are. So the size 15 seed beads, because they're smaller than the 11s and it's the same number of beads as the size 11 row, are causing it all to draw in. I've pulled tight, so all those little wonky beads that were sitting and you were going, well, that's not pretty, that doesn't look right, they all land where they belong. So we're down to the last spot. We're going to pick up our very last size 15 seed bead. It goes in the last hole and it needs to step up. So it goes in the last size 11 seed bead, so it's in the last gap, and it goes up through the very first size 15 that you sewed on in this row. Pull tight, and you have a continuous circle. Now, from this point, you could add another row if you wanted. For our purposes, this is fine. But you can do all kinds of decorative things with it if you want. Weave through a few more beads in this row, so an 11, a 15, an 11, a 15. So we get some more tension on it. We want that circle to be as smooth as possible. then you're going to go down into the prior rows and weave through. And I'm sticking my needle through the beading foundation out the back. I've made sure that I've angled my thread underneath the cabochon. So that now when I flip it over, I'm going to tie this off. A couple of stitches will do it. A little knot or two. So, there it is. It's attached to the felt. Next up, we need to cut this out. So, take a pair of scissors and start cutting. You want to cut right next to your beads. What you don't want to do is cut through those stitches on the back. So there's a little tiny space there. But you also don't want beading foundation or felt sticking out beyond your beads. So once you cut the shape out, you have something that can actually be sewn onto your needlepoint canvas. Trim off any little thingies that are sticking out. You can. You can see I'm far enough away from my threads, nothing's going to get into trouble. And I have a pretty little medallion that can be sewn in the center of a flower. It can be sewn on an abstract canvas. It could be eyes on a critter. If these were big googly eyes, that would be seriously cute. All kinds of things you can do with these. And next step, you're going to take this, position it on your canvas, and you are going to sew through that edge of the foundation and attach it to the canvas. Once it's there, embellishing is entirely up to you. You can add more beads along the side to cover the felt. Maybe there's stitches next to it, so you don't need to. It entirely depends what you want to do. But that's the basics of how to make a beaded cabochon. Hope you had fun, and I'll see you next time. Don't forget to subscribe. Thanks. Bye-bye.